I'm going to get up on my soapbox for just a little bit here, so please forgive me. But I am amazed at how many people these days who consider themselves to be committed Christians do not go to church at all or even belong to a particular church. Many of them, are a segment of the larger cultural trend in America of leaving the church behind. But whereas many of those who leave the church either don't have strong religious preferences or have no religious preference, leading to the term the nones, N-O-N-E-S, there is a subset who identify strongly with the evangelical Christianity, but who have simply left the church behind. For many of these, identifying as evangelical Christian is more about identity and identity politics as it is about faith. In today's reading from the letter to the Hebrews, we read a strong warning against separating from the community of faith for its ability to keep our faith strong and focused in the right direction. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Friday, January 12th, 2024. Most everything you read, whether a letter from a friend or a newspaper article or a book of the Bible, has a background situation which it addresses, even if it is not immediately obvious what it's addressing. Unlike the letters of Paul, where the background situation is often on full display, the letter to the Hebrews can appear to lack any such background situation. But Bible commentator Thomas Long identifies a particular situation that sits just out of view, but which becomes obvious once we begin to look for it. The situation is a church that has begun to lose its passion for the gospel. People are tired of being different, and they're beginning to slide back into old habits, the kinds of habits that they had before becoming Christian. In a word, they are losing their faith. But it's not just about a loss of faith. There's more to it than that. In the words of the writer of this letter, take care, brothers and sisters, that none of you may have an evil, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. But exhort one another every day, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. For we have become partners of Christ, if only we hold our first confidence firm to the end. Notice what he does here. He doesn't exhort people not to turn away from God. He encourages them to encourage each other. Exhort one another every day, he says, for he knows something about the power of the community of faith, that apart from the community, our faith is liable to fade, and we become susceptible to having what he calls an evil, unbelieving heart. Now, I know that sounds harsh to our modern ears, but he does have historical precedent behind him. Remember, in yesterday's passage, of which this is a part, he pointed to the unfaithfulness of the ancient Israelites, who, having come out of their slavery in Egypt, easily succumbed to the worship of a golden calf when Moses seemed to have vanished for 40 days. Even those who have been part of the community of faith, if they are not careful, can fall back into destructive beliefs and practices. It was true in the days when Moses led the people. It was true when the writer of this letter wrote these words, and it is true even today. Oh, we may cling to some of the symbols of the faith, or some of what we think of as Christian ethics, but apart from the correction and encouragement of the community of faith, our faith can morph into a caricature of authentic faith. Churches are important, not only because it is where we worship God. They are important in keeping our baser instincts in check and our faith on track. Tomorrow, the writer finishes up this section by returning to the promise of rest for the faithful. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.